Out of the three biggest and most promising altcoins of this bull run, which ONDO, Render, or ICP will get you the biggest gains, not just for this cycle, but also for the next cycle? We're going to have some fun today. The reason I've chosen these three coins is not because we're trying to find out which one is the best. They're all very much equal in terms of how quality they are, and I believe they will be quality into the next bull run as well. But I actually pinned these up against Bitcoin in a recent video. You should go ahead and watch that. Basically, what is better to buy one Bitcoin versus respectively a similar amount of each of the coins? And actually, the answer in this video honestly shocked and surprised myself. So go ahead and watch that. But let's put these three hyper awesome, and I guess that's even a term, really bullish altcoins head to head, which is the best. Now, it's important to understand, by the way, why I've chosen these three coins and put them against Bitcoin and now against each other. It's because, like I said, they're in massive narratives. They're in narratives, and the quality of the altcoins specifically outshine the other projects in those areas, again, the narrative. So we're talking here about AI, real-world asset, tokenization for ONDO, of course, a DPIN as well, which mainly is a Render and ICP. So Render and ICP are much of a muchness, except ICP also benefits from the layer one narrative as well. Okay, so L1s are over here. The best performing narrative so far out of these is real-world assets and AI, but again, layer ones are not too far off as well. The one that's actually underperforming the most right now is DPIN, but again, that kind of works hand in hand with AI. So we definitely have the matchup of the powerhouses in their own respective areas. And again, let me just preface for the fifth time already, these are all three high quality coins. I haven't been paid to make this video. I'm just searching for some fun facts, all right, but non-financial facts. And guys, before we start today's video, all I want to say is if you find yourself enjoying the content, right, amongst this sensation of it might be FUD or the feeling of wanting to get out of the market, don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe so you can be the best and most informed to make the gains this bull run. So let's talk about Render first of all, okay? Now, again, the way we're going to analyze this is through the lens of fundamentals. The only way you can actually adequately mark and grade an altcoin in a speculation market. Now, this bull run is speculation. The reason also these three coins work well as competitors is because they will all likely do very well in the next bull run because they will actually have solid utility, right? They actually are more than just speculation. They're actual real businesses working on real things, and they have a lot of legitimate things behind them. So Render in this case obviously hits a lot of the top narratives. When I say a lot, I'm really just talking about AI and DPIN, right? You can argue a few others possibly, but mainly AI and DPIN. And again, this is the power duo of the bull run. This is like DeFi in the last cycle. Maybe you can even argue ONDO's hitting real world asset tokenization might even be the true DeFi of the last cycle when we had DeFi Summer take us off to the first part of the bull run. But if you have a look and even glimpse at how prominent AI and DPIN is in Web 2, have a look at NVIDIA, okay, number one stock in the world. It's only an indication, I think, of where crypto is about to head as well. Now, for the most part, Render, website, everything is clean. Obviously, the unique idea and the meme, so to speak, around Render is it's one of the first distributed GPU networks. Matter of fact, the founder basically actually was on one of the NVIDIA GTC conferences and has been since inception, by the way, one of NVIDIA's yearly conferences. He's very close with the founder of NVIDIA. And in last year, we actually spoke about how Google and Microsoft are both using the Render network, or at least have applauded the Render network itself, not the parent company of Toy. We're talking about the actual Render network, which I've shown time and time again. Now, another metric we have to kind of grasp each of these coins, and this will play into the the gains in the next cycle, is actually looking at the inflation. Have a look at the tokenomics. This is a very important thing to assess as well. So the tokenomics for the Render network are actually pretty easy. Pretty much all from here is just inflation. Okay, ignore this TBD stuff. It's just inflation from here on out. Now, the beautiful thing is that Render actually now has a deflationary mechanism built into the network, which is fantastic, right? This allows the network to eventually become deflationary, fully deflationary. Now, the way that this model actually works is super, I think, brilliant. Just brilliant in general, right? It uses this model whereby someone using the Render network actually is incentivized to continue using the Render network, as it's cheaper to use the Render token rather than a USD or fiat or USDT, whatever it is. Using the token is much more effective, and it lasts longer basically. So it's the burn and mint equilibrium. To some degree, they have to mint tokens as well, but again, there will be some sort of burn. Now, this is the RNP, or the render pretty much improvement proposal, where they're looking to, via governance, basically allow the network to have sort of staking rewards. Okay, now the reason I'm showing this is because one of the key principles we want to have a look at today, again, assessing the possible gains of each of these coins. I've made a calculator here in a second I want to show you guys to assess all this, which you can use, by the way, if you go down below, first link in the description. But basically, if it has any sort of APY or staking rewards, that will allow us to, of course, make more money, which might make it a more viable investment for this cycle. Again, Ren doesn't have anything right now, but once this is, officially launched, it, was proposed 4 months ago, we will likely have a staking to some degree on Render. Now, in terms of the price prediction, I think from the current price, at a fantastic price, mind you, $7.70, I would say the top part of the green zone. The green zone is the safe zone when we're likely to still have buyers when we're trying to sell. Okay, the gray zone and the red zone are all pretty much 25% and basically around 30% in total from the price prediction of about $175. This is where there's likely to be some sort of resistance and some sort of static, because in these areas here, we are likely usually seeing, sellers versus sellers, very liquid markets in which if the price actually managed to get this high and you're trying to sell here, for example, well, because no one's buying and everyone's selling, it's going to slip until there's enough buy pressure, which who knows when that could come. Usually that's an indication of Bitcoin having some sort of reversal. A little bit of confidence is regained in the market. The suckers usually end up buying back in here usually, and that's when you're able to hopefully sell, right? But you kind of don't want to be trying to aim for as high as possible. That's why we've got the green zone, where I'm going to indicate and base some of these price predictions off. So the max price prediction, I think, for this bull run to realistically get out of this is not financial advice, this is my personal prediction, is about $116.50, which is a 15x exactly from today's price. So keep that all in mind. We'll come back to this momentarily. The next one we'll talk about here is ICP. Now, ICP is a bit different, right? ICP hits AI deepen as well, but also Web3 layer 1. You can even argue it hits interoperability. It does hit a few of these other narratives, the big 10 out of 10 ranked narratives as well. Again, guys, if you want access to this sheet and if you want access to the gains calculator that I'll show you here in a second that I've made strategically for this video and to allow you to realize the gains for the bull run and the next bull run, do not forget, first link in the description. I can't say it enough. There's so much awesome stuff in this sheet. You're going to want to see it, plus more. You got a whole private community there as well, all right? So obviously ICP is, I think, one of the very rare true layer 1 altcoins like Ethereum, for example, that you can have a confidence in for the next cycle. Truly is, just like Render has an actual business behind it, ultimately. These guys have the largest research and development team in crypto by far, like hundreds, I believe, of patents. It's just unbelievable. And if you actually have a look how this is created, it is genius. They have a full AI model completely built on chain. You can host full-on dApps, front end and back end, all on chain, which you can't really say anywhere else, okay? Now, at the moment, there is a disinflationary mechanism involved, okay? So basically that means that there is inflation, but the inflation rate is dropping over time. It's all based on their voting reward system, okay? So the neural network, it's kind of a little bit complicated to explain. Basically, if you stake your ICP for a long time, you can redeem your governance points or rewards into actually the ICP token itself, which allows you to pretty much mint ICP from acting in governance. It's a pretty good mechanism in my opinion. But either way, it's going down over time until it sort of stabilizes down at 5%. Right now, we're at about 6.84. So there is somewhat inflation, just like the Render network. Again, guys, inflation is good. Inflation, in this case, encourages governance, which is a very important part of crypto. A lot of you don't really realize, but it truly is. Now, just like Render as well, a great aspect of ICP is it does have a burn mechanism. 2 ways in which you can burn. Developers can do it, creating these canisters, for example, and basically allowing developers to buy a whole bunch of the token to allow users to use free gas, essentially. And in the same respect, there's ways in which the DAO and governance in each sort of canister or smart contract or little project can do that as well. So there's also inflation, as I just mentioned as well, via the minting on the neural network. So there's a few different things as well. But the one problem I have with ICP, I shouldn't say problem because right now Render doesn't even have any APY or passive rewards. You can't gain any money. But see, ICP does, but I believe the minimum investment is 6 months. So you have to lock your ICP for 6 months. I could be incorrect. I do know there is a minimum time you have to do it though. Again, I think it is 6 months here, so half a year. and you get 7.79% APY, which isn't amazing. It's, again, just beats inflation. Guys, inflation actually isn't a really thing in crypto, okay? So get that out of your head. But really, in this case, it does have some rewards over render, and you can go right up to 8 years at 15% APY. Now, I don't see anyone wanting to say for 8 years. If you really wanted to, you can hold for the next cycle all in one go. I would not non-financially recommend that, of course, because, again, you're better off multi-cycle compounding, as we'll see in a second. Now, the green zone for ICP is about 15x as well. It's kind of eerily freaky how they actually both came out at the same multiples for the green zone. $121, again, that's a nice juicy ROI. Again, this is sort of what I deem as the safer zone for the multiples made. The max side of things, again, you can go higher if you want to. You can stretch it up, as high as you want to, but the higher you do go, the more risky it becomes. So theoretically, what I'm essentially saying here is I think ICP can top out at a 22x, maybe even more. But again, what happens if it tops out over here? If you're trying to aim for up here, it's just not worth it. If you want a 20x, look for a smaller altcoin. It's as simple as that. So either way, ICP hits a lot of big ticks here. That's why it's on this list, of course. And the last one, of course, over here is ONDO. Now, ONDO hits tokenization real-world assets. It is the man, the myth, the legend, so to speak, of the real-world asset tokenization space. You guys know ONDO. I think everyone does. This coin doesn't seem to be going down. The market goes down, this coin goes up. I just hope when the market goes up, this coin doesn't go down, okay? I don't think it will, by the way. So ONDO is a 10 out of 10 all-star project for this area because it's basically tokenized. Well, I shouldn't say tokenized. It's leveraging one of BlackRock's tokenized US Treasury funds that specifically was designed for large institutions or whales to purchase. I think there was a minimum of like $5 million to pull out of this tokenized treasury fund or to kind of use. And obviously ONDO's kind of taken that and offered a retail sort of product instead. So we get some of these, right? We actually get the OUSG, which you can actually have 24/7 mints and redemptions, which is a little bit different to traditional treasuries, in which I believe there's a time frame and it's a process involved with that. Okay, so this has and allows a benefit via crypto 24/7 access to these very stable investment options. Now, USDY is also another option as well. This is, I believe, their stable coin. So the beauty of this, and you can already see, is that there actually is two different ways you can take APY. 4.73% via the treasuries or 5.3% via this. Yeah, just as far as I understand, can't actually stake ONDO itself on the ONDO network, which actually kind of goes against the whole idea of what we're trying to do here by looking at APY, because if you have to buy a different token in order to staking at APY, then you're going to miss out on the multiples made from the token itself. So I just want to stress that if there is a way in which you can stake ONDO itself, I'm unaware of, but I did try to have a look and I couldn't find anything, at least for now. Maybe through yield farming, but I would never opt for yield farming if you were a beginner. Now, ONDO's sort of unlock schedule is different to the other two, right? There is still a lot of the unlocks to still come, and I actually touched on a video on this last night. I really suggest you guys watch it. The unlocks, as far as we're concerned, up until, again, anywhere along this next line here, is going to be okay. There is a small sliver going to the private sales, so the VCs. The VCs will dump, they will dump, but the dump isn't going to, I believe, impact us all that much because they don't all have a big kumbaya moment, call each other and say, let's all dump the token. Okay, they dump at different times. We just have to make sure that we have realistic sell levels so we can, of course, get out before they even get out, right? That's the whole idea. Now, I would say in this point, the green zone ends at about a 10x, which is 900%. So a nice 10x from today's price. And I believe it could go up to $18, but that's on the high side, I must admit. I think anywhere the red zone sort of goes from about $13.50 to the $18 mark, and the gray zone, the flexible zone, is about $12.15 to $13. But again, I believe the top side is about there. Now, with all that being said, let's actually punch in the numbers into the newly created potential gains calculator. So we're going to take all that information, okay? We've established they're all three quality coins. I think we should all know that by now. But actually take in the staking, the APY, have a look at what happens if we had $1,000 for each, okay, over here. And what would that look like, not just for 2024, selling in the green zone, the top price for the green zone, but also selling in 2030. Now, of course, again, you guys have access to the sheet. First link in the description for the private community as well. Now, the way this sheet works is pretty self-explanatory. It takes all the guesswork out, especially if you're a beginner. All you have to do is put in the amount of tokens. Let's begin with Render Network. So we have 131 tokens if we were to spend $1,000 today, as you can see right here. Buy price, let's set the buy price right now is $7.70, which it is. Sell price, we're going to sell that max price, which if we come back over here, happen to be on this disgusting board, $116.50. Staking APY right now is 0%. Unfortunately, I believe the staking term in months for this cycle also at nil. So 2025 profit, we would make $14,000. Again, that's pretty much that 15x we were talking about, okay? So in this case, would we want to take some of that profit? This is not, this is not revenue. This is actual money in our pocket. This is true profit. How much to reinvest in the next bear market? Well, let's assume maybe we would want to take out, and let's just say maybe 25% for tax. Let's reinvest $5,000. So what it does is it says, what's going to be the price in the next bear market, given we fall about 80% from your sell price? Reason it's 80%, not 90% is because we're selling with realistic levels here. If it was to go up to $175, then probably I would plug in here a 90% drop because most altcoins typically do fall 90%. But let's say you buy back in $5,000 at an average buy-in price of $23.30. Let's also assume that the average sell price on the top side doubles from when you last sold. Okay, that's very, very normal for these three coins particularly. That should actually happen and play out. And in this case, it'd be $233. And in this case, we're not going to work any APY staking out. You can if you really wanted to, but this just pretty much takes the worst possible case in which Render would still not have any staking rewards. And again, it looks like the multi-cycle profits. And then it spits out the multi-cycle profit amount. This is profit again. So basically, over about 6 years, you turn $1,000 with Render into almost $60,000 profit, not revenue, profit. It would be 60K revenue. So this is pretty impressive. Again, a 60x for a project like Render. I mean, if you are someone who has the benefit of time, this might be invaluable. So for ICP, I've plugged it all in. Okay, so the APY is 15.8% over 6 months. So we're going to assume that you decide to stake for the bare minimum amount of time, which is about 7.9%. Okay, again, I had to account for a whole year APY, so the calculation would work. Basically, we're going to reinvest $5,000 because we're only about $1,000 or so up from what Render was. And if we come across here, it plugs all the numbers in for 2030 sell levels, works the worst possible case APY out. But let's say we do decide to stake for 2 full years, even at 7.9%, which if you buy in 2028 even, probably definitely possible for that to actually, still pan out in your favor. In this case, we make a little bit more money over here. So $68,000, basically 70 grand. So use 70x rather than about 60x, I believe, for Render. So actually, ICP really does truly beat Render out in terms of gains. But again, like 10 grand over, 6, 7, 8 years, is that worth it for you? Maybe. But again, if you're dealing with bigger numbers, this is $1,000, that could be the difference between you making let's just say 1 million and 1.5 million. So I guess if you want to expand it, definitely something to consider. And lastly, for ONDO, unfortunately, it's not amazing, right? So I've got 0% APY staking here because we can't truly use the OUSG or USDY because we aren't going to be holding the ONDO token in that case. As far as I understand, I could be very wrong. I've never used these two products before. So if they can allow you to pull in the USDY or USG and then just hold your ONDO tokens and then you make that flip back, if that is how it works, then that should be okay. But again, we work off worst case here, and that's I think a lot of people get wrong in crypto is that they try to always fiddle around the numbers to make it sound amazing on paper. But what happens is they do that and they believe it and then they get wrecked. Okay, you got to be very realistic. This industry moves way too quickly, and honestly, no one really knows because it's so young to kind of make those big assumptions, okay? So in this case, you can see the numbers on the screen here. Overall, again, we're going to go 0% APY for staking in the next bear market, basically, and you walk out with about $36,000. So again, that is worst case. Anything can happen. Either of these projects could have a massive next bull run. We don't know. We don't even know what's going to happen over the next 6 to 12 months, let alone forecasting what's going to happen over the next 6, 7 years, especially with the way the world's going. So all I say, the math don't lie. The math tells us that it looks like ICP might actually be the best investment if you can get in those staking rewards during the next bear market. Okay, so guys, thank you for watching this whole video. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you have enjoyed. And if you're not happy with the answer, at least we had some fun. Take good care. Bye-bye.